We'll be using the serial recovery in our upcoming workshop in case we have to recover some Pis that can't connect to the network. So we're going to go over that feature now. We have a board already wired up here. And a quick note on the pins. These general purpose pins are odd numbered down the inside and they're even numbered down the outside. So for counting from the top, that top row is pin 1 and 2, and then pin 3 and 4, and so on down the line. So with that numbering in mind, if we take a look at how this one is wired, we have pin 2 is empty. That's a 5 volts that's not being used. And then we have the red fan wire plugged into pin 4 and the fan ground in pin 6. Then we have this green and this blue wire in 8 and 10 respectively, and another ground in pin number 9. So the green and the blue wire are general purpose. However, when we enable the UART feature in the bootload process, the loader will assign serial connectivity, in particular transmit to the green pin 8, and it'll assign the receive on blue pin 9. If we look at the USB to TTL converter that I have, this one is the DSD Tech, and it seems to be working quite well. So we're going to be using these during the workshop as well. And we'll notice that the green wire here is actually connected to the receive RxD of the TTL converter. And that makes sense because when one device is transmitting, that has to be received by the receive port on the opposite device. So one of the mistakes that is common is connecting TX to TX and RX to RX, but that won't work. So also respectively, we have the blue wire here that is connected to the transmit on the converter is going into the receive pin 10 on the Pi. So RX to TX and TX to RX. The ground wire is a common ground. The Pi and the laptop have their own ground through their power supplies, but those are not running at necessarily the same reference voltage as each other. This common ground ensures that they have a common reference for 0 volts because the bits are measured on the transmit and the receive wires as a 3.3 volt signal off of that common ground, as opposed to some 3.3 volts off some random value that the two respective power supplies might have. So you actually need the common ground. It's not superfluous. In order to boot to the UART functionality, the config file needs to have this one extra flag put into it, enable _UART equals 1, and that will activate or assign those GPIO pins to the serial interface. Another issue you'll have on Windows 11 is it doesn't come with the serial drivers anymore for those ports. In my case, because I'm using the DSD Tech, which has a Silicon Labs chip, I just went out to the Silicon Labs website and grabbed the driver. When I installed it, Windows assigned COM3 logical port to the driver. So we need to make note, first of all, we had to go out and install the driver, but also Windows will assign some integer, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a certain number. So we'll want to pay attention to what logical port was assigned by the operating system to the serial device. With that piece of information, we can then connect PuTTY to the Pi over the serial port using that logical COM3 connector. Another common issue is getting the baud rate wrong. So the Pi uses a baud rate of 115200. Sometimes you might see someone accidentally put in like 9600 or some other value just reflexively, but the number has to match exactly because this is the relative rate that both chips are measuring those bits off of. So they're looking for that 3.3 volt change at this rate. And of course, if the two sides aren't counting at the same rate, they're not going to measure the bits the same. you might be able to tell that that number's off if you see a bunch of gibberish coming across the screen. You need to connect a connection type of serial and with telnet. And once you get the settings set how you want them, give it a name here in the save sessions and then click the save button. And that way you can just load it from that saved file in the future. So once you have it all set up, you open the terminal. And now if we plug in the Pi, it'll boot. The bootloader will see that the enable UART flag is set to 1. It'll assign the GPIO pins to the purpose of connecting to the serial port. Once all that happens and the boot sequence starts outputting messages, we'll see them scroll across the screen here. So we'll power up the Raspberry and give it a moment for the bootloader to start running. And then we should see the boot sequence start to output messages, and eventually we'll get to a login on the connection. And this is the same login as you would use, say, if you were connecting over SSH. So in my case, I just gave him the default username and password for the purposes of the workshop. So we'll log in with that once we get the prompt. Once you get logged in, you will have a shell with your user account that you set up in your userconf.txt or in your cloud init, and then you can sudo if you want to use advanced commands that require the sudo permissions with this particular user. So with that, we're going to use this as our recovery mechanism in the workshop because it doesn't require any networking. And one of the biggest risks in a workshop is going to be some kind of an issue with the conference Wi-Fi or getting connected to the conference Wi-Fi and not being able to figure out what your IP address is or some other problem like that. So this serial connection completely eliminates those types of issues. Another recovery option you can consider is gadget mode, but gadget mode does require more advanced technology stack than the serial connection. So the serial connection does seem to be the most reliable, most backwards compatible recovery option compared to, for example, gadget mode or anything that requires using a network stack.